The Admiral laughed at her civilian badge until she unlocked the submarine launch codes. "Excuse me. Ma'am, you can't be in here." 3 white officers stared at her as if she were lost. But she wasn't. She stood on the steel floor of the Naval Command Center, heels clicking like a countdown. The Admiral chuckled when he saw her civilian badge. "This is military clearance only." But the moment she walked past him, tapped 3 keys and the submarine launch codes blinked to life, they stopped laughing. This wasn't just a test. This was a reckoning. She wasn't there to take orders. She was there to evaluate who gives them. Welcome. Story lovers, from where are you watching? Hit the like button and drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. Before the uniform, before the badge, and before the missiles, Dr. Maya Caldwell was a quiet, brilliant systems architect. Raised by a Navy veteran father who never got promoted, Maya knew what it meant to be overlooked, especially as a black woman. After years of building unbreakable encryption for the Pentagon, her algorithms now protected the nation's most potent weapons. But none of that mattered today. Because today, she walked into North Bay's Delta wearing heels, not boots, carrying only a Level X civilian badge. She was here for an audit, to test the Navy's readiness under simulated threat conditions. But from the moment she stepped inside, she was met with sneers, side eyes, and silence. Officers passed her without a salute. The Admiral didn't shake her hand. And someone had already labeled her the consultant in mocking tones. But they didn't know they were about to be tested more than she was. Maya sat silently at the end of the strategy table, scanning her encrypted tablet. The Admiral laughed with his officers, calling her role mostly symbolic. She'd been warned. Black women in power, especially out of uniform, were often mistaken for support staff or spouses. But she stayed composed. The test would begin in 30 minutes. Still, the hostility escalated. One officer refused to share system access, claiming she lacked clearance. Another whispered under his breath, "Affirmative action strikes again." Maya documented everything, every word, every delay. She was the watchdog, and they were giving her every reason to bite. Then it happened. An alert was triggered. Red lights flashed, sirens blared. Simulated threat levels soared. While the men scrambled, barking conflicting orders, Maya stepped up to the central console. Fingers flying, she entered her override key, one even the Admiral didn't have. The room fell, silent as the launch sequence interface turned green. "Who authorized that?" The Admiral barked. She turned. "You did. When you failed to take me seriously." The room was no longer laughing. One officer saluted. Another stood frozen, realizing they had just failed the readiness protocol miserably. She wasn't a test subject. She was the test. With the sub's live interface active and the Admiral speechless, Maya looked around the war room. No one moved. No one dared. The countdown she triggered was controlled, simulated, but to them, it felt real. One wrong command and a billion-dollar vessel could vanish beneath the sea. And yet, she had done what none of them could. She canceled the sequence, locked the system, and spoke into the silence. "If this had been real, we'd be gone by now. All because you couldn't see past a badge." The Admiral's face turned pale. Every man in that room understood this wasn't just about national security. It was about bias, complacency, and who gets trusted when every second counts. Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like. It helps. The incident report listed it as a critical leadership failure under test conditions. But for Maya, it was proof that excellence means nothing when the gatekeepers are blind. She returned to D.C., briefed the command, and by the end of the week, half of that war room had been reassigned. Maya wasn't just evaluating systems. She was assessing a culture where rank outweighed reason, and skin color silenced skill. But the tide was turning. More black women were rising in roles that could no longer be ignored, because in silence they'd built the backbone of the nations. Defense thought the question now wasn't whether they belonged, but whether the system could keep up with them. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos. Take care.